Hello everyone, my name is Brett Wilson. I'm a two-time childhood cancer survivor. I was diagnosed at the age of 2 with acute lymphocytic leukemia, otherwise known as ALL, which is a childhood form of leukemia, in 1974. I had 5.5 years of chemotherapy and radiation, including cranial radiation, and after being in remission for a year and a half, I relapsed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. They found a nodule the size of a walnut on the side of my neck, and I had 3.5 years more of chemo and radiation. So I finished treatment when I was 12. I'm 38 now, and I think that's 26 years, although my math's not that great. But I'm just honored to be able to help folks that are going through the cancer experience, which is why I have the website walkingmiracles.org. And for anyone in West Virginia, I have a cancer survivors blog called wvcancersurvivorsnetwork.blogspot.com. And I'm trying to rally around the survivors in our community so that we can help and get other people through the experiences that we went through. But I'm really excited and honored in all the ways that I've been able to kind of get to where I am now. I got my master's in community agency counseling after spending several years with an aunt of mine who was diagnosed with breast cancer, and her cancers metastasized to the point that eventually she ended up passing away. And she was a great influence on me and a great help to me because it allowed me to have somebody else that was walking in my shoes that I could discuss any concerns I had with school or people making fun of me or any of the issues that I was having and not have a biased opinion. And so therefore I could actually express myself the way that I wanted to. And sometimes that's hard to do as you're going through an illness or out of an illness. You know, people don't want to think that that could be the case, that people would make fun and that kind of thing. And so it's kind of hard to be able to express how you really feel to supporting family members because they just want to make sure that you're taken care of and you don't want to upset them. So it's kind of a situation that I think a lot of folks have been through. And, after she passed away, I just decided at that point that I wanted to dedicate my life to helping people get through what I went through. And so I looked at several ways to do that. And in 2006, I started walkingmiracles.org. I had actually worked with the Duke University Cancer Patient Support Program during an internship. Found out a lot about how they worked with the psychosocial issues there. I had worked with American Cancer Society in some of their programs and had also done some support groups and survivorship and that kind of thing when I was in North Carolina. At the time that I started Walking Miracles, I had developed a program for Cancer Survivors Days, which I was really excited about being included for, because at the time I was searching for opportunities to be able to help folks. Although what I was trying to do, the money just wasn't there in some of the places, and so I did what I did with Mocking Miracles for quite some time and now for free, just because I wanted people to be educated and helped. And along the way, I also had some long-term challenges from my treatment. I had had some chemotherapy for such a long time that it caused my gallbladder to be petrified. And I also at that time did not have any insurance and was working a retail position, so I didn't have a whole lot of income. So I dealt with all of the issues on trying to figure out how do you get blood out of a turnip, to be honest. And so it was really kind of a learning experience for me. I knew that God had been with me through all of my experiences, and it wasn't until I got older that really what Walking Miracle really meant to me. And about 2 years after my gallbladder surgery, I had to have a pacemaker put in because the electrical system in my heart was damaged, and I had no idea that I should be educating myself along the way to do preventative maintenance on myself, just because I didn't know these were things to look for. I had also worked, after I'd done my internship at Duke, with the long-term survivors clinic in the pediatric area, and had learned some of this stuff and had read some of this stuff. But I guess I thought, well, can't be me. The other thing was, well, I don't have the money to go, and I don't want to have to be in debt for the rest of my life because of medical bills. So I understand the stress and pressures of those. And so after my pacemaker, I moved back to West Virginia, had gotten involved by a friend in our local state coalition for cancer, and had been asked to be on the subcommittee for cancer survivorship and patient navigation services. And I started looking more about what patient navigation was and realized that it's kind of what I had been doing. I just didn't have a name or a label for it. And had found out about Dr. Harold Freeman and the Patient Navigation Institute in Harlem. I had submitted a request to see if I could get training. It was approved, and I was flown to Harlem. I was trained for 3 days and came back, and it was the greatest training that I'd ever received, on top of accomplishing my master's in community agency counseling, because that's psychosocial issues is what I wanted to focus on. But there weren't any opportunities to do that still, and I thought, well, I'll get this certification from Dr. Freeman in this training and see what I can do with it. And we'd had some very successful conferences. When I came back, we started a conference with the West Virginia Patient Navigation Network, which started our first conference with 40 folks. We had 7 hospitals represented, and we also had our state governors and people and senators and congresswomen and all kinds of people involved at that point. And things were really looking up, and I thought things were really taking off at that point. And the next year, we actually doubled our numbers and managed to get Dr. Freeman and Livestrong to come to West Virginia for our conference to talk about their change in services and how they were going from a internet-based literature model to a more direct services model with patient navigators in the survivorship area, and also education, long-term effects, and that kind of thing. Plus, they were also doing psychosocial counseling, and it was a walk-in direct services facility. And I really got excited about that, because after I had seen the process that Dr. Freeman had gone through with his services at the Ralph Lauren Cancer Center and how seamless it was for patients, I got really excited about trying to provide that opportunity here in West Virginia. And as a result of that conference and my background, I was honored to be considered a volunteer Livestrong leader. And I will also be going in May to Lobby Day in Washington, D.C., where I've already worked on setting up meetings with our congresswoman there and a couple of our senators there from West Virginia. And I'm just really excited about helping cancer patients and their families, trying to be a service to some folks, and never realized that eventually that would come to pass, as I had had an opportunity to really kind of help someone in a support group I went to talk about what Livestrong could do for them and the services that they have and what they have to offer. If you're interested in finding out more about what Livestrong would do, their website is www.livestrong.org, and the phone number is 855-220-7777, and that should reach the patient navigation unit. And they are there with telephone counselors and everything. And thanks so much for listening, and hope you guys have a great day.